Hey, what's up, YouTube? Hiker Dave here. Just come back from a nice hike, nice 5-hour squatching expedition. Actually, I found a footprint. I made a video to show you guys. Anyway, how are you? I wanted to do a video on the kind of the area I live in, and I never mentioned it before, but I think I'm gonna now. I live right in the middle of what is called the Bridgewater Triangle. If you've never heard of it, Google it, and you got to see some of the stuff that has happened in this area. It's a 200 square mile area in southeastern Massachusetts, and it was once home to the Wampanog Indians, and the stories that surround this area would blow your mind. There's stories of Bigfoot, swamp gas, pterodactyls or thunderbirds, massive, huge birds. There's so much paranormal activity, UFO'S, snakes, giant, huge snakes, quicksand, if I didn't already mention that, and the Freetown State Forest, which is in the middle of is not far from here at all, in the Bridgewater Triangle. It has some crazy stories of satanic cult activity. There's been multiple murders, suicides. There's talk of these pudgewudgies. I know that sounds crazy. There's a cliff in the Freetown State Forest. I won't hike Freetown State Forest. I stay out of that area. There's too much going on. There's been human sacrifices out there. They found a poor girl tied to a tree out there that she was murdered. And there's tons of stuff on this Freetown State Forest. Like I said, I stay out of it. But I do hike an area called, about 6 months ago, I hiked the Hockomock Swamp. And I just pulled over one day. The swamp is right near my house, probably only, 6 or 7 minute ride. I live really close to it. And I found my way in there, and there's a fire road that cuts right through the swamp. And it is named a swamp because it is just really a lot of swamp area. Actually, the Wampanoag Indians used the swamp. They also named it. They used the swamp to evade the settlers. They would ambush settlers, attack them, and then they would retreat into the swamp because it's such a hospitable area that the settlers wouldn't follow them in. So they used that kind of as a hiding place for a long time. And they named it Hockomock, which means place where spirits dwell, or it's right along those lines. I might be not exactly right, but that's basically what it means. And I hiked through there, and because I know the area and I know the myth or the stories, the legend of the Hockomock Swamp, I had a crazy feeling. Had some things happen to me out there. I did hear the hoots of an owl. Let's see. I felt pushed out of there when I felt just really uncomfortable. The hair on the back of my neck was standing up. If you've ever had the feeling when someone stands behind you and you didn't see them, but you can feel that force, I felt pushed out when I was leaving. I had something thrown at me. It landed just off behind me to my left. Something was thrown at me. There was like high reeds on each side of the trail that I was exiting the swamp, and I really felt pushed out. I went back once, took my oldest son and a couple other people with me, and everybody was kind of freaked out. But everybody knows that the legends of this area, with the swamp gas and the quicksand, Bigfoot sightings in the late 70s. There was a police officer that claims that he had his car, the rear end of his car, lifted up by Bigfoot and slammed to the ground. And that was all over the news. And there are researchers that that have YouTube channels on just specifically about the Hockomock Swamp and the Bridgewater Triangle, Bigfoot, and a lot of paranormal stuff. That a lot of UFO sightings, and you'll see, guys, just look it up, Google search Bridgewater Triangle, craziness. And the reason why I thought of this too is, why wouldn't they be here in this area? Instead of me trying to explain why I think that they're here, I more along the thought thought process in my mind thinks more of why would they not? This place is prime for a Bigfoot, a family of Bigfoot to thrive here. So I wanted to let people know that this area that I hike in is right in the middle. I hike, I live, and I do all my squatching right in the Bridgewater Triangle. It's pretty neat. There's much more stories that come along with this area. And like I said, Google search that Bridgewater Triangle, southeastern Massachusetts. There's really interesting stuff. A lot of it is newscasts and stuff like that. And I mean, it's been on the news. There's been a book written. There's a movie about the Hockomock Swamp. So check it out. I'm sure you guys will enjoy it. I never brought it up in my videos just because of the paranormal part of it and the UFOs and stuff like that. But Bigfoot is in this area and was sighted a bunch of times back in the day. So check it out. Google search it. It's really cool. It's fascinating. It's fun to listen to some of the stories. And right now, up to date, there's a whole crew of guys that go out to Freetown State Forest, and they'll go out there at night and they get some crazy recordings and turned around and lost and just things that a trail that you knew you were on and you know it well. All of a sudden, you're not where you thought you were and stuff like that. Thank you guys for clicking, and I'll see you on the next one.